Hi YouTube, Reverend Brian Jamesworth here on my channel, and I made a bit of a cock-up. I think. I did a gig yesterday, and I don't know if you ever get the thing when you're doing gigs and you're setting up. I go as a solo artist, and I was setting up to do a gig, and I usually use my some of the Kato radio systems for both my microphone and my guitar. I find them easy. The guitar ones are 2.4 gigahertz, the microphones are 5 gigahertz. They're cheap and cheerful, but they work extremely well. I never get let down by them until yesterday. And my guitar, the Kato system, failed to work. Or didn't. And there is the question. Why did it not work when it's actually working? Well, the very, very simple reason is my stupidity. When you set up for a gig, do you get the point, if you're a solo artist, you haven't got somebody there with you, you're doing a lot of things, usually in quite a short time. You've got your system, you know how your gear goes together. But quite often, because of circumstances outside my control, I can't get to somewhere necessarily early enough to be able to do all the things I'd like to do. There's things we need to do, but there's things I'd like to do as well. And sometimes I like to just take my time and just enjoy something. Take it easy, make sure everything's working. Well, yesterday was one of those times when it was a little bit of pressure on. I was running a bit out of time. I'd done all my sound check for my vocals. I'd done all my sound check for my backing. I usually use, I was going into somebody else's mixer. So I usually use a mixer of my own and my TC Helicon GTX Live, and that feeds into their system. So I always know the consistency of my mix. I know which knobs to twiddle. I know about getting my reverb just how I like it because it's my stuff. And I take a line out from my mixer output straight to their mixer. Usually a mono line because I mix everything to mono for live stuff. But I then plug my guitar in last. I usually do the guitar last because at least if I've got the vocals, I've got a show. If anything does go wrong. So the guitar going last is the thing which, if there's something of an emergency, I can do without and still do a show. I can't do a show just on guitar. I don't have enough material for that. Well, I checked my radio systems. They're all nicely charged, both my mic and my guitar ones. Put my mic in, worked fine, get my levels, get my backing levels great, and all I have to do then is put my guitar in and bring the levels up to match what's needed on that. So I plugged in my Kato radio systems, nothing. I'd usually plug it in the back of the TC Helicon and use the tuner and the TC Helicon to get what I wanted to do and take it out through the XLR into my mixer. So you have two XLRs from the TC Helicon, one for vocals, one for guitar. Nothing. I plugged this into the input, the mixer direct, nothing. Couldn't get it to work. Time was against me, so I got up a trusty 5-meter jack-to-jack lead, which I always carry a spare lead. I always carry, even though I use radio systems, I always have a mic lead. I always have a jack lead. And if you are going out to do gigs, please, consider fallbacks. I always have a fallback for things. I always have some other way to do it. I don't let people down, and that's one of the things that people book me for. I don't let them down. So this thing didn't work. Got my trusty 5-meter jack-to-jack out, did the gig with that. And I've come home today, and normally when I take them out of the mixer, the receiver one, I always leave with the jack extended, because usually I'm plugging it straight in, it doesn't get folded over. The guitar one is usually slightly bent anyway, because it goes in 8 degrees in my acoustic guitar. I don't use this on the Strat very often. I've got a different one which fits much better for the Strat. So this one's using my acoustic, and all I do is just wind it down. So I know, bring them out the bags. This is my transmitter. This is my receiver. They were both folded in. Thinking about it yesterday. Yep. I plugged the transmitter into the mixer. I plugged the receiver into the guitar. And of course, in the heat of the moment, never thought to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick some tape around this, some coloured tape around one of them to show that it's actually the receiver or the transmitter, whichever one I put it onto, to show that it's actually that rather than the other one. Because this is a really good thing about making yourself maybe a checklist, which I don't normally do. My checklist in my head. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been singing professional solo for 30 years. I've been professional as a musician for nearly 35. So you get these things in your head and you think you know it all. Well, you never know it all. And also, as I'm getting older, I'm 64 now, maybe the senility is setting in. That's always possible. So yeah, whenever you get a problem, don't think of the obvious that something's failed. It could just be you've got them the wrong way around. And because of the pressure circumstances, it gets to be a problem. So try and reduce the pressure. Get the pressure off you. Make it so that you've got a system where the pressure isn't on as much as possible. I know sometimes circumstances say that you can't do that. We've all been to gigs where we've been told you get in there and you think you're on at, say, 8 o'clock, and they say, oh, you're on at 7:30, didn't they tell you? Wow, great, I've got 30 minutes less to set up. Or we've all done those gigs where you get the phone call and, yeah, are you free? Yeah, can you come up? When do you start? 25 minutes time, but it's a 30-minute journey. Yeah, you'll be fine, don't worry about it. And even if they say you can start later than the norm, there's a pressure on the audience is sitting there waiting for something. So yeah, pressure on yesterday, things are the wrong way around. Just have a think, get yourself a system, and don't be so eager to jump on the fact that something's failed, when in actual fact, it's just your own stupidity. We live and learn. Till the next time, this is Reverend Brian James saying bye-bye. See you soon.